What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jimmy James doing a little bit of gameplay, doing a cast. Welcome to episode 2 of the Jimmycast, and we have, well, the Romans have arrived to the rank ladder. Yes, no more venturing to quick play and the island of broken PCs that constitutes that platform there, right? So we're gonna do this. Actually, I'm gonna turn the sound down just a bit, just a little. I can turn these down just a bit. Hey, we're doing this live, guys. We are doing this live. Yep. Map. Okay, go. Let's get ahead, right? Catch up to live gameplay here. And okay, right, so now we're live, and we have the Romans. We have Romans versus Chinese. One of the things that really drew me to this matchup is that we have two civilizations here, we've been talked about quite a bit recently. Starting off with the Chinese, actually, they're having their technology discount nerfed pretty decent bit in the early game, and it scales a little bit better as the game goes on. It used to be 10, 15, 20% cheaper technologies in feudal, custom imperial age, and now that's down to 15, 5, 10, 15. Right, so you can see the early game decreases by quite a bit higher margin. So anyways, we have the Chinese, which have long been regarded as one of the best civilizations in the game, actually. Many people arguing that they're the best civilization. But of course, right, we have the Romans, and we can also, right, talk about Arabia here as well in this game. Take a look, right? These deer are pretty far away, and so failing to lure your deer in actually is a pretty big deal. Additionally, right, we have the European and Eurasian Arabias now, and that means that we have boar again on the map. I've said for a bit that I think that the meta is actually going to get slightly less aggressive, at least in terms of timings. Because when we would get boar back, right, and with the change to deer being pushed away from the starting TC, which is something, by the way, that your boy Jim Stradamus predicted, well, you know what? We can see here, right, that this is definitely causing the builds to be not as smooth, right? We can see that our red player, and by the way, these are two, pretty good-sized mid-elo players, right? They're both in the 1700s in terms of elo. And you can see, right, it's kind of a struggle. So, getting some deer in. We've seen, well, looks like our blue player got 2 deer in. So, well, it's actually able to manage that, which is, again, pretty impressive, looks like. And it's going to go down, right? So, but again, right, 43 seconds of idle time. That's actually not bad for Chinese. Maybe not the greatest either, but you can see, right? In terms of the villager advantage, it's only slight right now. So maybe luring in those deer had a little something to do with that. We see some deer being lured in as well. So again, pushing the deer away from the TC doesn't look like actually it's had the biggest effect in the game. But it has, right? Our blue player, right? Assuming our blue players on the other side. It doesn't like it's had that effect in the game. Red players still able to go out, find their opponent, scout the civilizations. Though having boar means there's going to be a little bit less food, and I think we see players going to their sheep a little bit earlier. It's pretty interesting. Great. 4 wood. So it looks like our Roman players going up to gold now. This early barracks suggests a men-at-arms rush. Now, the Romans are interesting, right? They're kind of an infantry and cavalry civilization, which puts them in a pretty unique spot in the game. Economically, you have a pretty versatile eco bonus where your villagers gather resources, build buildings, repair 5% faster. So it's like you're getting half of the Slavs eco bonus, half of the Koreans eco bonus, because that's stone. Maybe not half of the Koreans bonus, a portion of the Koreans bonus. I forget what the number is for Koreans. Is it 15% faster? I don't know. You're getting like a quarter of the Turks bonus, because I think Turks mine gold 20% faster, and a third of the Celts bonus. Is that right? So it's kind of a jack of all trades economy civilization, which is going to help out any strategy, but maybe not be overpowered, hopefully, for any particular one. Now, one of the interesting things about the Romans, and it'll be interesting to see what our player goes for here. We're going to go for an archery range. Pretty nice timing, good economy. Oh, he delayed loom. Ah, interesting. That's an interesting move there. Okay, I see you there. Nicely done. It's a good thing he wasn't under any pressure, but a lot of times you see that with the Chinese because even if they get a good uptime, you tend not to see heavy men-at-arms pressure. So if you're going for an early build, you can probably get loom. Now, the Romans have a military bonus where their blacksmith upgrades do double effect, but you are missing the last one. So it'll be interesting to see if that comes into play here. As these men-at-arms loop around, and well, maybe get a villager here. Ooh, gonna try to keep this. She's gonna try to quick wall, but it's hard to quick wall on those hills, and that's probably going to be a dead villager. We see some quick walls coming on hills. Oh, very good. Very tight walls, too. And that villager goes down, right? So, the Romans, right? First kill in rank. At least that we've seen here today, right? A little bit of idle time from our red player, right? As they're conducting some aggression. Again, that's something, again, for all you players that are out there that have this happen to you, happens to me. I'm very critical of it in my own games. Sometimes it's nice to see players that are, you know, a few hundred points of elo above me also struggle in the same way. Though it looks like this palisade wall, it's being repaired, but it's kind of an even trade at the moment. Right? Meanwhile, we do have archers coming in, though Blue Scout is on top of that. And we have double archery range from our player in the blue, though no blacksmith yet. Oh, there it goes. Wow, pretty good. Alright, so we're going to see archers to try to deal with these men-at-arms. Honestly, pretty good. Should be in a decent position. The Chinese player does have a 2-villager lead, but this is largely a function of the fact that our red player has idled their TC time by about 45 seconds or so in this rush. So, something to consider there. Now, our blue player is going to get fletching, so even though these two archers are going to loop around, given that our blue player is on 2 archery ranges, I think our blue player actually shouldn't be in the worst position. Remember, our red player is just on one range. Now fletching is in. Again, thinking about the Chinese technology bonus, right? Our Chinese player was able to get fletching, you know, still get it. Noticeably, right? No double mid-axe for the Civ, though. So maybe that's where we are seeing a bit of a change. Maybe with a previous bonus, right, you'd be able to get both. And now you got to kind of pick and choose. Interesting. Put my volume down a little bit. It still feels a little too loud. Okay. Really solid defense, though, from our Chinese player. And the bill count seems pretty even so far. Not quite walled up. It is worth noting that our go back down. Our red player, they've gotten some decent activity from their aggression, given that they have 2 villager kills. Though it looks like their aggression is starting to falter a bit. And well, I think that the Chinese player is going to have the archer advantage, but our Roman player is getting scale my armor. So let's find this guy here and let's just watch that armor grow. Now, I'll tell you, I have a build, given that the Romans weren't unchanged, this build is still useful. When the Romans came out, I did a build for the Romans that I call the Armor Rush. And that's where you actually rush getting up this armor upgrade. It's one of the first things you do. And boom, we can see, now you have +2 melee armor and +2 pierce armor. And oh man, our opponent's going for it. Now, if you'll recall, in that build, one of the things I said was that you have to be careful about it. Because this build, it starts this armor, once you get enough archers, it starts to lose a little bit of steam. So you have to be really careful how you use it. Now, I do like that our red player has massed some archers. I would actually suggest, instead of archers, skirmishers, right? So that way you can keep the pressure on the men-at-arms. They can soak up arrow fire for you. And then you have skirmishers, right, that can attack the archers, and you can start thinning down those units. I think that that's the play, which kind of actually fits with the historical Roman army, which, from what I understand, did make pretty extensive use of throwing javelins to soften up enemy targets. But perhaps that's a story for a different time. Meanwhile, our red player's going for forging as well. Right, so we have a big feudal battle. Looks like he's going to go around to the front. Nope, looks like he's going to go. Gonna catch him here. I kind of like this, actually. Meanwhile, these archers, well, ooh, it looks like they're coming back. So this attack is coming in. It's coming in hot and heavy. Already getting some nice value, causing some idle time from blue, who's reacting to this. So this attack is already giving you something. Forging, these guys are coming in massively. 4 men-at-arms, right? This is really interesting. A lot of people think that Romans are going to be the civilization that truly has infantry that's viable in the late feudal age and the mid-game, and we're seeing some great damage, right, coming from this push. Wow. And looking at the idle time it's creating as well. These archers, right, are getting a lot of value. We're going to see some dead villagers. I think that this is a result more of as much as blue being out of position than anything else, though. Right, the archers were forward. They didn't track the red army. Right. You know, ooh, these guys still have all their HP, and they're just hunting down units. Right. Really good, valuable for the rush from the Romans there, but again, these guys are going to be lost now. So you can see here, right? Roman infantry is not invincible. This is just a group of 7 archers, right? Took a little bit of time to thin them out, but they definitely weren't invincible. So, you know, I don't think that blacksmith bonus is overpowered. I just think it extends the usability of the men-at-arms, right? And it's going to give you some pretty good timings, right? Okay, so we have the Roman player is up to the next age. And the real question here, what's he going to go for? Right, getting a lot of value out of that rush. Got some archers queued up in there, but, right, our Chinese player is going to be up to the next age as well. Let's go take a look at these stats here. Okay, so the Roman player's got a nice eco lead, but again, right, 4 villager lead here, so that really shouldn't surprise us as the eco upgrades are coming in, and our Chinese player is on the way up to the castle age, right? Really nice job. So, not for the Roman player, I think this is where you, as a civilization, get a little awkward, right? You can go for knights, which are going to be generic at this point in the game. I think with their Imperial Age tech, you can get some charge attack on them, which is nice, and then you can also help them create faster. So again, Roman cavalry is pretty good, which I like about the civilization. But what do? Oh, wait a minute. We see villagers on stone. It's possible that our red player wants to go for their unique unit, the Centurion. Man, we could just see everything in this game. Now, this forward gold is going to be pressured, right? Our red player is going to have to move villagers off of it. Okay. Doesn't pick that out just yet. Okay, now he moves villagers off, dropping off some resources there. Well, he's got some golds on the side that he can get to, right? Not the biggest deal at this point. Meanwhile, our Chinese player is continuing to mass up archers, and well, red player is going for the 2nd infantry armor. And he's got 3 men-at-arms, but I don't think that's going to be enough. And meanwhile, our red player is retreating. Not the worst idea. You don't know if your opponent behind this is actually making cavalry. And it looks like our blue player is going to scout around with a skirmisher. I actually really like this move. Really heads up play from blue. You're only a few seconds away from castle age, and you don't want to take a big L on your crossbows. So, right, we have Roman longswords, which, again, for us, just to make a point of comparison here, let's click on one of these little guys. Right, 5 pierce armor, 4 melee armor. So essentially, these units are actually better than Malian long swordsman, because you get a little bit more pierce armor. So let's see how they do. Well, they're getting 3-shot by this group of 13 archers, but I don't think our red player had the mass to deal with. So as you can see, again, I don't think this is necessarily overpowering opening, given that a group of just like, you know, a dozen archers actually was able to hold on pretty well. Now here we see the stable, and here we have the castle, and we have centurions in the queue. Now, notably, our Roman player doesn't have any cavalry upgrades, so this could be a little bit of a meme at this point. But he wants to get them out there in the field. Let's see what the guy's got. Woo, look at that. 3 base Pierce armors. Be insane for a Castle Age unit. Now this unit is really expensive, but it looks like our red player is going to be in a pretty good spot. Is on 1 TC, and our Chinese player is on 2 TC, so you're probably going to want to see if he can get those units up and running. Notably about the Centurion, it gives more, I think it's bonus and attack. I think it's an increase in attack speed for the longswords. So this is going to get really interesting. What our Roman player is going to do here is defend with those cheap Roman scorpions that I think you can upgrade them for a faster firing rate. I don't know. There's a few things you can do. Now, meanwhile, the Centurion, I think it's probably just going to get thinned out here because you don't have any Pierce armor. Yep. So you got to get your upgrades still with Romans, even if you're playing with Centurions. And it looks like our red player just doesn't quite have it. Very even game, right? The villager count's kind of evened out. However, it looks like our blue player actually is thinning out these longswords pretty decently, but they're getting their hits in. Right? Ooh, look at this. Oh, that's not good. Our red player X that. These guys are having a good time. All right, good. Some people might think that's a little rude, but if everybody's able to have a good time with it, then I like that kind of thing. I think players have to. It's fun to trash talk a little bit in the game. I actually do it just a bit myself on occasion if I think somebody's going to be a good sport about it. But you never know if somebody's going to take it the wrong way. Okay, so we have a little bit of a pause here. Again, we're doing this live, folks. We're back in the game, right? So I don't know. It's possible, right? You viewers out there on YouTube, that I kept this pause that we had, that I didn't edit it out. It's also possible that I keep this in the video, right? I would say either way, let me know if you would appreciate hearing my candid commentary in times like that. Also, I would say let me know if you would ever be interested in me doing a stream via something, say, like YouTube Live. Never really gone live on YouTube, and even though I have a Twitch, it's not something I use very much. In part just because my audience, you guys, right, isn't really there. Or maybe you are there, but you know me on YouTube, so why not go live on YouTube? How about you let me know in the comment section if you think that would be something you'd be interested to tune in and see. But that being said, right, we do have a Siege Workshop coming in from our blue player. Okay. Not bad. Man, this mass scorpion army, mass long swordsman as well. Our blue player has the right idea, I think. The question, if he can get that siege up and running, that will be the key. So capture, slow down a little bit there for a second, right? See if we can speed up a little bit. Okay, get back to live gameplay. And well, okay, so our blue player does know what's coming. He's got an onager out, so that's going to be pretty good. But the long swordsman number is starting to mass up a bit. I think this fight gets pretty dicey. Right? No more upgrades. Okay, so he takes out one scorpion. I don't think that's enough. I think you gotta retreat here. The monastery is a decent idea, but ooh, it looks like the Roman player's coming forward with a castle. This is where things could snowball out of control, folks. These Centurions still don't have armor. That bothers me a lot. Though that 3 base pierce armor is coming in clutch, I gotta say. Looks like our Chinese player also. Oh, how many villagers here? He's got 9 bills. 9 bills. You need to buy a castle. You have the market. I think you gotta buy. You could buy a castle here and probably get this up. Though Romans do build faster. I don't know anymore. Ooh, these villagers are getting thinned out a bit as these scorpions are having a lot of trouble pathing. Ooh, get this castle get denied. Get this castle get denied. I think he denied it. I think he pushed it away. No way. I don't know. I don't think he did. He let it get up too much. The Centurions are in. The Longswords are in. I think the game could the game come down to this? I mean, he has golds out here, but that's hard to protect. Is this castle gonna go up? He's losing. Well, he's got a big villager lead though. Red stayed 1 TC this whole time. 95% and did a GG call. Wow, boss baby. Living up to his namesake. That was rough. 1 town center play. How often do you really see that in today's meta, right? Played it aggressively, aimed forward, went all military. Not trying to make it to the late game. You know, we know what happens to Western Roman Empire in the late game. And I didn't make it. Wow, this is a really, really good game. Definitely exciting. And just in terms of internalizing my thought here, I think the Romans are a strong civilization. I do think that, I think the bonuses we saw were not that they're overpowered. I think you could make a case though that their economy, I actually thought their economic bonus may not be overpowered. I'm starting to reconsider that. Consider the fact that, you know, yeah, our Chinese player did get a little bit of a resource advantage, and yeah, they were behind a little bit in villagers, but the Romans are doing a lot of work on 1 town center. I don't know, and actually, that's pretty interesting. But we got to see a number of units as well for the Romans in this game, which was really cool. Centurion seems cool. Imagine if that thing had some actual pierce armor on it. That would be interesting. Though again, probably still countered by monks. And when it comes to Chinese, right, I don't think I felt like they were the technology nerf really had a crucial role. I mean, we still see a civilization that's able to get all of its upgrades. Getting armor as well. I don't know. You know, maybe we could have seen more technologies being purchased early, but maybe what that technology means though is that Chinese are actually kind of in a nice spot. I think more is to be seen. But with that being said, guys, I think this is a great game. Be uploading this to YouTube shortly, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Definitely let me know in the comment section below. And yeah, that being said, guys, I will talk to you guys next time. I'll be putting out a video on Saturday. I'm going to be doing a tier list coming out. I know tier lists are really popular, especially on my channel. I'm kind of a tier list guy. And I'm going to be doing a 1v1 infantry. Going to be taking another look at that tier list. It's been about a year, and I think the time's come. So definitely stay tuned for that one. That being said, guys, I'm Jimmy James 59. I'll see you out on the ladder. Peace.